potentially not even playing that well. You know what I mean? We'll take that. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well, man. Please make sure you drop a like on the stream. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Nobbins' channel as well. Link in the description. And of course, you can follow Tone on Twitter at MCFC Tone for all the City news. Was that a good intro, boys, or what? I feel that was pretty good, that.
It's always good, mate. It's always good.
Yeah.
It's
always great. That was a little better than normal, and it's always good.
Yeah. Good. Did either of you go to the parade last night?
No, I don't do. I've never done parades, though, to be fair. I don't know why. I celebrate
you're too cool. You're too cool for parades.
Whoa! You're attributing the coolness. I never said that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You go in prison. You go in prison.
What do you mean you've never been to a parade?
I don't know. I just don't. You know, I have celebrating the stadium with the trophy lift, and that's all. That's my. That's my celebration energy out, and then I'm chill. I like looking at the pictures though of the parades, but don't actually visit them.
Okay, interesting.
Nothing else to do with coolness.
I did go. It was good, man. I enjoyed it. It was very, very busy. Very, very busy. And I had a good time. Before we start, because there's lots of stuff to talk about. Apparently, we're going to have no manager next year. Apparently, half of our playing staff are about to leave. They're all going to Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what's going to happen next season. So enjoy it. Well, the season after. Enjoy this season. Enjoy 2024, 2025, because it seems like after that, it's all downhill. But, guys, I have news. I was in Asda today. Yeah.
Crazy.
For the non-English people, that's at Walmart, supermarket. And guess what I found? Oh, it's the Erling Haaland edition.
That's hype. Oh, look, he signed it for you as well. How kind.
He signed it. He was there in the Asda's.
It's mad.
And he signed it, bro.
Plug in the product.
He signed it. It's a
absolute legend.
It's a Erling Haaland Prime edition. It's strawberry lemonade.
Does it taste of success?
Well, I'm going to do a live review.
Excellent. This is into a mukbang.
Yeah, it's got 22 calories in the whole bottle.
That's good.
It says this as well. Listen to this. It says vitamin E contributes to the protection of cells from oxidative stress, which after the last few days of news and result, I think I need, guys. I think I need that protection.
Vitamin E is good as well, because I think vitamin E, you can only really get it from stuff like, what is it? Right. Is it olive oil and all that stuff? So that's a good source, yeah. Eggs, olive oils, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, and Erling Haaland Prime.
Yeah,
all your sources of vitamin E.
So this is the Erling Haaland edition, right? So did he come up with the flavor? I don't know.
I like to think he was heavily involved in the development of it.
Okay.
Yes.
It smells nice. Really?
Has it got a good nose? Yeah. That's not even a taste. That's a significant glug.
Yeah, is he going to gargle like wine, like a proper? No.
Spit it out in a bucket.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's doing the thing. He's even doing the pursed lips thing. Like he's actually doing it. He's gone for a second helping.
He's back. Oh, hello.
It means it's not terrible.
No.
It's not bad, actually.
Is that it?
That's underwhelming.
No. What you want me? It's nice, man. It's decent, and if you like that sort of stuff, if you like prime drinks and like energy and like what is it? It's not an energy drink actually. It's caffeine free, but like if you like juice, it's good, man. It's too sweet for me. I could drink this a lot, but I will finish the bottle because it's nice.
Lovely, good work, Erling.
Yeah,
there you go. Big up, Erling Haaland. Right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Rob that from Noisy Pod. Pep Guardiola's leaving next year. Ederson's going to Saudi Arabia for £25 million. Bernardo Silva's leaving for 50 million quid. A lot of other players are leaving as well. They're getting sold. Our team's a bunch of bottlers, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Right, where to start? Let's start off with the manager. Pep Guardiola is expected to leave Manchester City at the end of this season, next season, according to Jack Gorn, who's a very good source. He says no decision has actually been made yet, but it's obviously his contract does come to an end. City going to try hard, I imagine, to try and get that contract extended. But yeah, it looks like next season could be his last, boys. I mean, what we're saying? We're crying?
No.
No, Tone, go, mate, go.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to hope that he will sign. I think it is more likely he goes from what's been said and so on. But it does, in a way, and this is awful to say, but it does, in a way, feel like it's sort of coming to end of like an era in a way, with some of like De Bruyne and Walker and so on, and those players perhaps getting a bit. Well, we're all getting older, but you know what I mean. They're coming towards the end of their playing career at the top level, and all that sort of thing. So and the team needs a bit of a refresh, and by next summer it'll probably need a bit more of a refresh. So it does feel a bit like, in a way, the end of an era, and it's if Pep wants to take over that era or the next era, the next play, and go from there. And yeah, it appears at the moment maybe not, but it does feel like we're coming to the end of something at the moment with City. So it's not enormously surprising if he does go next summer.
Why do you think he won't do an extra year though, man?
What, to 10?
Yeah. Or is that just not that? Is he just not? People just not that bothered about that extra year? Like for me, 10 years is like, that's big. That's like, you know, that's a huge thing. Why would you not do that?
Well, Barcelona, just to say, you remember at Barca, he was always, afterwards, he always says he's wished he hadn't done that last year. There may be some thinking with that he's thinking another year, 10, 12, 14, whatever it is, the numbers are probably irrelevant to him. It's probably one too many if this is accurate that he's going. I don't think, I get 10's a milestone, but I wouldn't have thought that would bother him too much after his Barcelona experience. There'll be something in the back of his head, I'd imagine, saying it might just be too many.
Yeah, I think that obviously we don't know. It seems like Pep himself hasn't even made a final decision. So this is all speculation. So maybe he'll sign an extension, maybe he'll leave, who knows? For argument's sake, we'll assume, well, actually, before I say that, I honestly think that it depends on the outcome of next season. For example, if we don't win the Premier League next season, I don't think Pep's going out on that. I don't think Pep would want to have his final season at City not winning the league title in the first instance. If he wins it, different story. What I would say is that even if he leaves, people have been, mainly rival fans, have been sort of dressing it up as, well, what's going to happen to City? It's going to be the exact same as United in 2013 or 2012, whenever it was, when Fergie left, and you went off a cliff, and then you were relevant for like a decade. Those people, I think, will be in for a bit of a nasty surprise, because sure, there'll be a decline, as of course there would be, whenever it's next season or whenever, because Pep's the best manager in the world, maybe the greatest in history. There's obviously going to be a decline. But let's not act like City were a bad team before Pep came in, like obviously post-investment. I don't think we've been below top four since 2010. And we obviously won the league title twice under two different managers, and we won other cups as well in the meantime. And we got to a Champions League semi-final before Pep. So this isn't going to be a disastrous decline into abject nothingness for like the next 10 years or whatever. City will still be a very good team, and they'll still be a very well-run club. And again, are they going to be as dominant? No. But are they going to go off a cliff? No, because let's remember what that United side that Fergie left was. It was an aging squad with no actual ambition by the owners. You had injury-prone players like Wayne Rooney, with like Van Persie, and players like Wayne Rooney, Ferdinand, and Evra, Vidic, etc., past their best. You look at the City squads: Foden 23, Gvardiol 22, Doku 22, Haaland 23, Alvarez 23, even Diaz 27, even Ederson 30. This is not an old squad. So even if we assume worst case scenario, Pep leaves next year, we're still going to have a very strong squad and a very young squad. And I still back our ownership and our higher ups to get the succession plan in place. We're not going to bring in a David Moyes. It's going to be someone like an Inzaghi or whoever,
Mitchell. It's going to be Mitchell, bro.
but someone good and someone competent. Basically, I trust this club to not be crap post Pep. Basically, there's not going to be this massive fall off that people think there will be. Well, are we going to win 5 in a row or whatever? Probably not. But are we still going to be in like the top 4 picture and in the title race picture and competing on all fronts, etc.? Yeah, we are. We're not going to turn into crap overnight. It's not going to happen.
Sorry, Nobbins. When you say if he doesn't win the Prem, he won't go out on that, are you saying you think a decision won't be made until the very end of the season? Because I think it's going to probably come later this year. You know, whether he stays or goes, and City will want to prep for the new guy.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't even know. I guess it depends on like what relationship you have with whoever you want. Let's say the drone. How do I pronounce his name? Is it Mikel? Did he say
Michelle? Is it
drone manager?
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah,
probably.
Michelle. It's obviously a City Football Group club. I don't know if it's going to be that much of an issue if he's sort of like being left to hang for a little bit, because at the end of the day, there's the opportunity to come and manage Man City. So I don't see it being too much of an issue. I'm just convinced that Pep does not leave on a failure quote of a season, i.e. not winning the league title. I'd be very surprised if he left on a sour note like that.
It should be said, this news came out early this morning from Jamie Jackson. He said, Pep Guardiola will spend the close season weighing up his City future. Guardiola was firmly minded to leave after the 2024-2025 season following last year's treble. However, he has now decided to take some time thinking about whether or not to extend his stay. So that seems to be slightly more positive in the sense that, according to Jamie Jackson's sources, he was set on leaving after last year's treble. Now he's actually thinking, hang on a minute, I might not leave, might stay. So
I guess that's sort of indicative of the issue, isn't it? Because only one man knows, and that's Pep.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he might think now, maybe now he's erring more towards leaving, but maybe something happens in a couple of months, and maybe like he sees the players training out of their skin or whatever, and he loves the new signings or whatever, and he's like, oh, maybe I want to go again, sort of thing, or maybe he wants to sack it in. So the issue is, this story goes with the wind of what Pep wants to have happen, and again, the only person who knows that is himself.
Yeah, and you're a great point as well, because the players see this sort of thing and they'll be fired up when they get back, going, right, sod this shit. He wants to go. We're going to show him. We don't want him to go. Get out there 100% every time. I'm sure they do anyway, but even more so. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a really good point. I will just say with Jack Gordon stuff, I'm sure most are familiar. He will have that very well sourced, and City will have given him the thumbs up to at least proceed with that article going out. There's no way Jack won't have checked with City, because City are good with him and he has a very good relationship with them. So yeah, just throwing that out there, that this will be well sourced. It's probably from people very close to Pep, maybe some of the staff, I don't know. But yeah, it's just to throw that out there. Jack Gordon's story, although it is technically speculation or whatever you want to call it, it will be well sourced, but obviously not confirmation. But it isn't like it's, you know, some numpty from the Mirror or someone who's just thrown one out saying, oh yeah, Pep's going next summer. This definitely will be well sourced, and definitely is worth taking seriously for sure.
Yeah, let's big up Bevo as well for joining. Listen, for me, I just like, it's a bit annoying that the news dropped when the parade was about to begin. That was a little
Can't
frustrating.
have nice things.
You cannot have nice things in this world. But listen, at the end of the day, we know he's out of contract, so unless he signs a new contract, he is leaving. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he stays. Like I say, I think it'd be nice for him to do 10 years. I don't really know if he does. If he leaves, the thing that keeps me like hoping is that, like, if he leaves, what's he gonna do, bro?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because where's he going? There's no better club for him than City right now.
New York seems to be the thing, and that's from more than one. Quite a few people are saying that, and people who are in and around City are saying New York, which I still think it's too early for Pep to go over to New York.
Well, too early, mate. How old is he?
53,
he's only 50 something, isn't he? Yeah,
53.
Like in his
I think
early to mid 50s. He's young.
53.
Yeah, to me, yeah, it just seems so early to me. Why? But then, what's he got to do in Europe? He's done Germany, he's done Spain, he's done England, he's won it all everywhere multiple times. Italy, but I don't see it. France, no point. If you're Paris,
the only one I think that's interesting, that might interest him, is Ajax, because, you know, that's obviously where Cruyff made his name, and Pep's from the Cruyff school. Maybe make Ajax into turn them back into a European superpower. But yeah, you're right. Apart from that, he's obviously not going to go anywhere in England. I doubt he's going to go to anywhere in Germany. He's not going to go back to Bayern. He's gone on record saying he doesn't want to go back to Barca. So unless he changes his mind there, he's obviously not going to go anywhere else in Spain. Syria don't really have the finances to help him in terms of like what he'd want to achieve there. PSG ? So I can only really think of like either retire or whatever in New York, or have the romantic fairy tale in Ajax. I don't know.
I can't see him being a manager which, like a Wenger and a Alex Ferguson that stays until the sort of mid-70s, and onwards. I can see him retiring quite early. He's had an excellent career, both for as a player and a manager. And I think there's somewhere on record of him saying that he doesn't intend on doing this for the foreseeable future, and that he wants to retire quite early.
Maybe national sides. He said he wants to manage Brazil, hasn't he? That's like a big dream of his, apparently.
England should get him, really. That's what I've said from time. Like, I don't want him to go there.
That World Cup.
Yeah, I don't want him to go. I'd rather him stay at City, to be honest with you. But like I've said this a lot, like England's FA, should be all over Pep Guardiola trying to get him in after Southgate. I don't want it to happen, because I'd rather him be at City, but that's what they should be doing. But they won't, because they won't pay the money. They won't pay the wage that he'll command. I think Southgate's on like 4 million a year, and Pep's on 20 million at City. So
do you think Pep would suit an international job? But what I'm thinking of is the time he wants to implement what he wants to do. The international job, you get, a few days or what have you with the players. I get something different and probably more relaxed.
No, because I think he'd dumb it down, Tone. I think like when people speak about Pep and international, I hear this argument a lot that, Pep wouldn't be able to implement his style because he's not got enough training time. Well, he'd do a dumbed down version, in my opinion, of the system. He wouldn't be like, he wouldn't do all the mad complex stuff that we see like in the games, but like he'd implement a basic plan, a basic style, and go from there. The little intricacies he might not do.
I'd say, to be fair, if you managed England, a lot of our players play Pep football, like at City and at Liverpool and at Arsenal. They play a similar style. So Pep to England, there you go. That would actually make sense. You could actually, because again, you just call it Walker and Foden and Stones and Rico, and coming in at Man United, he's a Pep player, and all these Arsenal players, etc., who can play style of football. So match made in heaven.
Now listen, I'm going to come to some of these super chats now, and then we'll discuss what managers we reckon could be in line for the job, and who our preferences is. Built to Martin in the chat, guys on holiday sending me videos and pictures of him. You know what I mean? So I hope you have a good time, bro. It's not what I want to see then when I look outside the window. Okay, big up to MCFC with a super chat. Says, yes, lads, keep up the good work. I'm getting concerned with the lack of clarity going into the summer. So many conflicting reports saying we won't pay Bruno's release clause, for example, even though he's our number one target. Maybe City have a couple of options. Obviously, if Kimmich is available and he's less, maybe you can get him for 55, 60 million because of his age and his contract situation. Maybe City are not willing to pay the 100 million release clause for Bruno, so we're trying to negotiate. But if they won't come down, then they'll go for Kimmich, something like that. I don't think this summer will be a bad summer. I think City will go get this sorted relatively quickly. Yeah. But this will probably be the biggest transfer, Bruno. So they're just trying to negotiate everything as much as possible to try and get the best deal. But I'm hopeful that this year we'll have a decent summer personally. Danzy Bar says, yes, LB, this might just be Pep being smart till we cleared off 115. Also, have you seen a picture of the City parade versus the United one? I don't know, actually. I've seen quite a lot of pictures on Twitter, bro. I don't know what they are. It's people putting all sorts of pictures up on Twitter of the parades, man. But yeah, it was a good turnout last night. It really was. Big up for the super chat, bro. Appreciate you. Big up to Off Meta, who says Fabrizio Romano 3 hours ago said Pep will decide next season. Yeah, seems likely. And LB says, what's the percentage on Ederson going? We need him. Shocking. I don't know if you guys have seen the latest news coming out. Apparently, Al Ittihad are about to bid £25 million for him.
Yeah,
Is that for his right foot? Like,
no, we'll probably do, Nobbins. We'll probably accept it and go, well, it's the highest transfer fee for a goalkeeper over the age of 30 ever. And go, wow, records. Just like we did with Mahrez.
He must not go, Ederson. I don't look. There's other players as well. I don't want to go, but he is absolutely fundamental to City, in my view.
We cannot sell him, and that price is just a joke.
Some players are beyond a financial amount, and that's what at the stage that is what Ederson is. He should not be up for sale. It shouldn't even be a conversation.
It's his agent, I think, because he's due a renewal, isn't he? So his agent's playing the contract.
Yeah, which is fine. If that's what it is, then we all play the game. That's absolutely fine. That's not an issue. I just hope that's all it is.
Yeah, no, spot on. Right, okay, back to manager talk. That's what everyone's liking at the moment. Who are our preferences in terms of who could take over Pep Guardiola? Jack Garner's has thrown in a few names. Girona's manager Mitchell, who we spoke about before. Nagelsmann has a contract until 2026. Xavi Alonso has agreed to do another year at Bayer Leverkusen, so he could potentially be available, but there is a lot of people obviously are saying he's going to go to Real Madrid. And could that mean if he goes to Real Madrid, Ancelotti might be available? Also, De Zerbi, we know that Pep Guardiola loves Roberto De Zerbi. And of course, Vincent Kompany's just signed is signing a 3-year contract at Bayern Munich. So he might be available, but you'd have to spend some money to get him out of Bayern Munich, buy him out of his release clause. For me, listen, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm at with this. To be honest with you, I struggle to give you like a name as like a clear like he is the guy. De Zerbi, I have problems with his stubbornness and mentality. I do get that he'd be playing with better players, but something about him that I'm just not a massive fan of. He seems to get like smacked up quite a lot of the big teams. That's a bit of a concern. Girona's manager Mitchell, I think if he does a good job next year, I think that he's basically guaranteed to get the job if he does a good job next year. Vincent Kompany, it might just be a year too soon. Nagelsmann, not 100% sure. What are you guys saying?
De Zerbi is assistant to Pep next season.
Well, he's actually not got a job now, isn't it? What's the situation with him? Has he been linked with anyone?
I think
so.
It's all right. It's just paper. I think it's just paper talk. You come out every day, and De Zerbi's linked with this job, and I think it's all just paper talk. And I think the main reason is I think it's the lack of managers, world-class managers out there at the moment. I don't think there's too many fantastic options for any club. Even if you go back and look at sort of Liverpool, they didn't get their first choice or even their second or even third choice, so they've had to settle with Arne Slot. I just think there's a shortage in talented managers at the moment, and I think this next season will be the telling one. You've got Alonso that's obviously only had a year at top football. I think if he goes and replicates, obviously it's going to be difficult to replicate what he's done this year, but if he can go and have a season like he has, then he's definitely going to be in the contention for it. The same for, like you were saying, for that Michel. I think if he has another good year at Girona, he could be up for it as well.
If Girona next year get top 6, he's got the job.
Yeah.
He's just got the job, innit? He's just got the job. If he gets top 6 next year and Pep gets off, for me, it's just like he's just got the job, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if it's today, I think he would be the guy to come in, and I think he will be next summer if he does well. Like you said, I'd rather Alonso. If you're saying you can have any one of these names, probably go with Alonso. I like De Zerbi, but not at City. No. I think there's some talk he might go to United, unless they're keeping Ten Hag, of course, which sort of makes the FA Cup loss perhaps worth it in the long run if they end up keeping him. But yeah, just get back to I think Mikel, whatever he's called. I think he'll get it next summer if Pep goes and they have a good season.
I think whatever happens, we need to just trust in the club. You know, we were winners before Pep. You know, we won FA Cup and the league under Mancini. You know, we got to the semi-final of the Champions League and won the league with Pellegrini. You know, we then obviously we've done what we've done with Pep. I think we just have to trust the club. Back any players that come in, any players that leave. You know, and the same with the managers. The club have way more knowledge than I do. So whatever they do, at the end of the day, I'm a Man City fan. Whatever the club choose to do, I will support it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. But who would you, at the moment, say he left today, who would you, as a fan, who would you say, I want in me?
If I was being greedy, I'd probably say I wanted Alonso.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I think in terms of what's realistic and what fits, I think that I'm leaning more towards Inzaghi, just because style of players there, it's very pretty to watch. It's a similar philosophy to Pep. So obviously he's won the league title this year. We know how good Inter are. We faced them in the Champions League final. Let's be honest, they should have scored that day, but for Lukaku being incompetent. He knows what he's doing. He's that proven winner sort of vibe. I think that would be the most. I think that would probably be the safest option, but while also being realistic, whilst also being a very good option. Also, the timings match because his contract ends when Pep's ends in June or May 2025. So it would be like from a realistic perspective, it would work as well. And again, the philosophy matches too.
Yeah, I guess it depends what City want, innit? You know what I mean? You got the smooth transition of Mitchell guy, yeah, however you say his name. We do need to work out how you say his name. I did check it the other day and I keep forgetting how you say it. Who obviously can just find out. He can come across from Girona and just take the reins, obviously. And he does play good football. I've done quite a lot of watch-alongs this year of Girona. They play some mad stuff, you know, and he's not got the best team there either, really. I think a lot of people think Girona have these superstars. They really don't. Yeah. They've got a lot of average players that he's getting to play further up. Like I say, I think he needs to have another good season. I think Vincent Kompany. Is there a chance Kompany could get the job, boys? If he does good at Bayern this year, do you reckon
I think it's too soon.
What does he need to do then this year then to be able to be in with a chance? Because Mitchell's in with a chance, and he's only got Girona to the Champions League this year. Like, what does Kompany need to do then this year?
I don't think I'd want him, but that's for sentimental reasons. Because obviously he's done what he's done with us as a player. And if he comes in and it doesn't quite work out, I don't want that to have any effect on his legacy at the club.
Yeah, that won't have an effect with me though, bro, because I can separate it, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, say he comes in and he does bad. I'm happy to just be like, that's all right, no worries. Like, it didn't work out. It's not going to impact my opinion of him as a player or a legend of the club. Like, it is what it is. I don't know, man. I just think that, like, at the end of the day, if he goes to Bayern this year, wins the league, right, and does pretty well in the Champions League, like maybe gets them to a semi-final or something, and we're here, and we're not exactly blessed with the best names around here, you know what I mean? Then maybe City could go with it. I think Inzaghi is the only one really whose name is probably slightly up there. Yeah, but you do that, Tom, but he's won stuff.
Yeah, but playing what football? He's from purely what I've seen of Inzaghi and the way they play. I'm not following the style with that one, unless I'm completely wrong.
No, I don't think the style's massively different. I think they play decent football. They get the ball
similar philosophies, yeah, I think.
Yeah, they try and play, and he's won. You know what I mean? He's actually won stuff. Alonso is young. You know what I mean? But you know, Jose Mourinho did say that Alonso was going to be the next like greatest manager going, didn't he? Because of obviously all the managers he's played under. What about Ancelotti, boys? No one's really spoke about Ancelotti. If Alonso goes to Real Madrid and Ancelotti's been available,
no, that guy has like 7 league titles in his 50-year career or something. No.
How many Champions Leagues does he have?
But I don't want City to become a cup team. I want us to win league titles.
Yeah, but what about Champions Leagues? I'd love Champions Leagues.
You know my thoughts on that. I always want to win the Premier League. He doesn't do well enough in respect to the league title format. If you think of all the amazing teams he's had across the course of his career, those ridiculous AC Milan sides of like the mid noughties and this like Real Madrid side or whatever, and he's won 6 or 7 league titles. For me, that's not good enough, to be honest.
I think you've got to look at the other side of it as well and say we want a manager that we can bring in for the next potential league, 5, 6, 7 years. I don't want a manager that's going to come in and go again within 2-3 seasons. I think that's where other clubs like United and other teams like that have fallen away because they've not had that consistency.
They never got a manager as good as Carlo in a structured football club. Like their club's been a mess for the last decade. Yeah. Like they were just switching from pillar to post. My point is on Carlo Ancelotti, right? Is if he's available and the other option, and say Inzaghi's not available, say he signs a new deal at Inter, right, and you want to leave, and the other options is Michel, De Zerbi, and Nagelsmann. Surely, if those were the 4, you'd go Carlo Ancelotti. You wouldn't go Michel over Carlo Ancelotti, surely.
I don't know. I maybe would take the risk. I like Ancelotti. He's great, but and he's done phenomenally, especially in Europe. But the things you hear about Ancelotti from his ex-players are where Pep is intense all the time. Training field is Ancelotti's not so much. Apparently, according to some of his ex-players, he's very hands-off, bit more chilled in training, not so much hard work. It just doesn't. I don't see it. The Michel thing I see because of the links, the style, and all that. Ancelotti would be a wild one for City. What is he, mid-60s? Ancelotti, I think 63, 64, somewhere around that area.
Yeah, 64 is.
Yeah, so it just doesn't add up, Ancelotti, to me. I don't mean his age. It doesn't tick many boxes, whereas Michel, despite the inexperience and all that sort of thing, ticks more boxes, I would imagine, for what City
but can I ask you a question? Why as fans now do we go towards this 5, like Bevel just said it a second ago, this 5-6 year thing when there's a proven winner who could be available in Ancelotti? He's won stuff all over Europe, right? He knows it, and as soon as he walks into that dressing room, our players would respect him. Why do we sort of like look at that and go, nah, because he could only be there for 2 or 3 years. We'd rather have a 5 because you could get Michel in, but what about if Michel's not good enough? Then you sack him after a year. Then you go on back to another one. There's no guarantee Michel would even work. I just think if Ancelotti's available, I just think that like you've got to go get him in my view. Now, if Inzaghi's available or Xavi Alonso does really well again next year and he's available, then yeah, maybe I'd accept it. But if the options are not including Inzaghi and not including Alonso, and the options is Ancelotti, De Zerbi, and Michel, there's only one place I'm going there, and it's Ancelotti for me.
Sorry, Bevo.
No, go on, Tone. You go.
It was only a real quickie, right? I am switching a little bit here, so I do apologise. But can I throw a new name out, LB? Would you mind?
Go ahead. This is a safe space. Oh.
Is it Mancini?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm in. Look, next summer, someone else is out of contract. Arteta. He's out of contract, isn't he? That'll wind up the Arsenal fans.
Love that. That's why I prefaced it by saying being realistic. But hey, if Arteta's available, I'd want him.
Yeah, he's out of contract next summer.
Yeah, it won't happen, but I'd like him. Again, similar style, good manager. Would weaken Arsenal, who are apparently our main rivals right now. There we go. Sorted.
I think the thing with sort of wanting a manager in for sort of the next 6-7 years, I think my main reason for it is because of what we've just witnessed under Pep. I think, to be honest, if anything, it's more greed from my side. You know, we've had this unbelievable manager come in for as long as he has. You know, I don't think any of us expected him to stay for as long as he has. And, you know, we look back on it now and we think, I want another 7 years of that. You know, I want another 8 years of that. And I think that's my only kind of thing on it is if a new manager comes in, I'd love them if they are, you know, the sort of levels of Pep. I'd want them to come in and stay for as long as possible.
No, I listen, you're right there, bro. I thought we all want a manager who can be here for 5, 6, 7 years.
Inzaghi's young, guys. He's not even 50.
You really like this Inzaghi shout, don't you, Nobbins?
Yeah. I just think
What
he's
about
good.
Potter?
I do like Graham Potter, but
No.
Potter.
No, man.
Again, I like Graham Potter, but
we need winners. We need a winner. For me,
is that based on Klopp? Liverpool fans going at you, LB. I'm telling you.
Nah, for me, we need a winner, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go from Pep Guardiola to some like guy who's not won anything before. Like, you've got to get, you know what I mean? We already accept that it's going to be a bit of a drop off when Pep leaves. Yeah. Whoever steps in that dressing room has got an incredibly difficult job. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is throw someone in there who's never won anything before. And when he tries to get some tactics into the players and it's not going so well, the players are looking at him going, you don't know what you're doing because you never won anything before. Whereas if it's Don Carlo or if it's Inzaghi, the players will respect him because they've won stuff. That's why I sort of like struggle to get behind like the De-Zerbis and that, because I just don't think they'll get they'll command the respect of the players.
I'm going to throw another curveball. I want to throw another curveball in there. What about Di Michaelis?
Yeah, man. He's been listening, Bevo. He's been listening.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm always in the background.
Yeah. Statistically, the best River Plate manager in the last 30 years.
Is that right?
I don't know. It was a 5-minute check on Transfermarkt, but I believe it's true.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, bear in mind though, Chicky will be involved. Even if he goes next summer, he'll be involved in whoever comes in some shape or form. And he gave Pep the job at Barca with very little experience, hadn't won stuff. So if he's involved, they won't see any problem, or he won't, based on his previous record of appointing someone like Michel, who's, you know, say Girona finished 5th, good season, cup semis or whatever. I don't think he'll have any problem at all taking a risk and putting someone in instead of someone like Ancelotti, because they did it with Pep, or he did specifically. He was the one who gave Pep the opportunity.
Yeah. Now, this is what Inzaghi's won, by the way, as a manager. He's won 5 Italian Super Cups, 2 with Lazio, 3 with Inter Milan. He won 2 Coppa Italia Primavera winners with, that's Lazio under 19s. We won't count them. It's just shameless as I'd want to be. He won, obviously, the championship with Inter Milan, and then 3 Italian Cup winners. 2 with Inter Milan, 1 with Lazio. So he's won stuff.
Yeah, and Lazio, I'm just checking now. Before Inzaghi, they hadn't won anything since like 2013. So it's not like it's easy to win with Lazio. So that's the boy, guys. That's the boy.
I think for me, you got to look at him. You got to look at Don Carlo as much as people don't want to look at him. And if you can't get either of them, then you are probably looking at, you know, the Michels and that, you know what I mean, or the Xavi Alonso's. Company, I think, will have an outside chance, but I think he needs to do really well this year. And then it's a case of like, what's his buyout clause going to be next year? Because, you know, if I was Bayern Munich, you're looking at what's going on with Pep Guardiola. You know that company's going to want to manage City at some point. So you're not going to pay 11 million euros release clause to get him out of Burnley and then not protect yourself, are you? So there's probably, if I was Bayern Munich, I'd probably put like a 25 million euro release clause in there. Just to protect myself, because I'm paying £10 million to take a risk to get him in anyway. So then it's a case of, would City even pay 25 million quid for company? Probably not. So I don't know, man. It's tricky. It's a tricky one. I'm going to do a poll in the chat. Go on, Bevel.
I think they paid 10 million to bring him in.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's from a relegated Burnley side. So, you know, if he does go and impress, then, yeah, you're probably right. It's going to be around the 20-30 mark.
So I'm going to do a poll in the chat, boys. I can only do four options on the poll because YouTube has a cap. What four are we saying are the most likely to be the next manager? Inzaghi?
Michelle.
De Zerbi, probably.
Inzaghi. Yeah, Michel's default one, isn't
Yeah.
De Zerbi's got to be on there, unfortunately. De Zerbi and
His stock has fallen so much.
just something about him, man. Like every time I watch him against the big teams, it's always like 4-5-0, and I'm like, there's something dodgy there, man. Who's the fourth option? Inzaghi and Michel, De Zerbi.
Alonso, maybe.
Probably.
He's probably going to win. But right, I'm going to do a poll in the chat for you there, guys, so you guys can have a vote. If you're watching on replay, just leave a comment down below. Who would you rather have? If you're watching on Twitter, then rip. Let's have a look what you guys are saying in the super chats. Big up to you. MCFC says, speaking of potential managers, do you guys think we can hire someone in the mold of Inzaghi, or would it be in the same possession philosophy like Michel, De Zerbi, etc.? I think Inzaghi doesn't play a mad different style anyway. It's not like crazy different. So I think that would be okay. Maybe Ancelotti doesn't play like the same style as Pep, but he's a winner. So he could still be an option. I think Michel, providing he does well at Girona this season, he doesn't just completely fall off and it's like, oh, it's clearly just a one-off. I think if Michel and Girona finish in the top 6 this year, I think it's pretty much guaranteed that it'll probably be him, to be honest with you. De Zerbi, obviously, I don't know what's going on because he's not got a job. Go all out for Big Ange. Oh, fucking hell, no one spoke about him.
Yeah,
I do like Ange, to be fair.
Yeah, I did think about him for a few minutes ago. Someone mentioned him in a chat. I thought that's good shout.
I do like Ange a lot.
Would you have him at City? Do you think he's good enough?
I think he needs to have a good season with Spurs again. Oh well, did he have one last year? Don't know, but he needs to have a better season with Spurs than he did last. If he gets in the top 4, could be in for a shout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. That's a good shout, though. If you want another Pep, you go hard for Alonso, in my opinion, says Darcy. Yeah, I mean, that is... I mean, let's be honest, right? Alonso, no disrespect to Leverkusen here, but Alonso's obviously been promised a big job, right? If Bayern Munich want you and Liverpool want you and you say no, I'm not being funny here. That's not because he loves Bayern Munich. That's not because he loves Bayer Leverkusen and he's like, oh, Leverkusen till I die. Yeah, that's not... He's obviously been promised another job, which is, likely to be Real Madrid. But we have to throw our names in the hat if he does well again this year. We simply must. We must do that. Big up to Sign says, Luis Enrique. We never spoke about him. He was on my list like last year, 2 years ago. He was on my list. Since he's gone PSG, I think his stocks have declined slightly. But at the same time, that happens to everyone that goes to PSG. So Luis Enrique, he's got the credentials. He's won stuff. Again, in terms of similarity in the way that he plays, it wouldn't be a massive change. He'd probably accept the job.
That's the thing to consider as well, because as our first team, we don't just play this way for our first team. You know, it's adopted right the way through our academy. So our whole footballing philosophy would probably have to change if we brought in someone different that doesn't have that style of play. And I think, and Luis Enrique probably fits that bill. You know, he was the one. He was the successor to Pep at Barca. He understands that style of play probably better than anybody.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want like Ancelotti in particular, because he's very, very dissimilar to what Pep is. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Carlo Ancelotti for 2 years, then get Pep back from holiday. There you go.
I'll take that. I'll accept that. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's a compromise.
Yeah, we'll have that.
It's a deal. Eddie says, I get wanting more Prems, but want more European Cups. I know, man.
I've just got an issue with, again, just go look how good some of those players were in that AC Milan side. You had Kaká and Seedorf and Inzaghi, a different Inzaghi, and you had Yapstam and Cafu and Maldini and Nesta, and he won 1 Serie A. I don't think that's good enough, personally.
Okay, interesting. What about Zidane?
No,
I don't see that at all. No.
So
He
he's
only
a-
wants... Sorry,
Sorry, Tom, go on. No,
You go.
I don't have anything of note to say, Tone. Please proceed.
I probably don't either, to be honest. I was just going to say I don't see it happening because he only seems to want Real Madrid when that comes up. So maybe he'll go back to them next summer and we get Alonso. That's all I was going to say.
I was just going to say that I put him in the same category as Ancelotti in that obviously he's still a great manager. I want people to think I think Ancelotti's bad, great manager, but he's more of a manager who's very flexible to the whim of his squad. And I personally want a manager who's going to have more of a set style of playing system, if that makes sense. I think that's what our club is built on and designed around.
Okay, interesting. And finally, Prodigal says all the Allegri's and Ancelotti's won't happen because Soriano clearly said all managers, all levels follow City Barca. Wait till this management is in. Again, I think that's sort of saying what Nobbins is saying on the style sort of thing. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Danny says Pep is not leaving. He only put up the presser in Dubai for renewal contract, just like Kevin De Bruyne. They stay together. LB, you know I know KDB's mother. There we go.
Inside scoop.
Yeah, exclusiva. Right, okay, that's the manager done. Now on to our squad who are leaving as well. So yeah, Ederson's going, Ortega's going, Bernardo's going, Kyle Walker's going, Nunez is going. We're losing a lot.
Scott Carson, lifetime contract.
Yeah, Scott Carson is staying. Yeah, Scott Carson is staying. Let's start off. We did touch on it earlier, but let's cover it properly because I think it's big. It's obviously big news. Al Ittihad are willing to offer an initial £25 million for Ederson. Where to start with this, lads? Where to start with this? 25 million quid.
Wipe your ass with that offer.
Yeah.
You think they got the numbers the wrong way round?
There are some zeros missing from this number.
I was going to say, even the numbers the wrong way round, I still wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
No, definitely no. I wouldn't for 100 million. I really, City are not stupid. They'll know how key he is. I don't see him going at all unless he absolutely comes out and says, "I want to move," and then Pep will move him on. It just won't happen. He's not going. No way.
Yeah, it can't. There some players transcend value, and it's. I don't claim to be a goalkeeping expert. But I don't know who's out there who can distribute the ball like Ederson can, or who do a similar job. I don't know if there's a goalkeeper out there that exists that can do that. So even if we're getting a load of money, you're not going to be able to replace him in any event. So what's the point? He's only 30. Neuer's 38. I'm not saying that he's as good as Neuer, but he can still play at this level for at least another 5 years, at least.
Facts, man.
So I don't care. I don't care if they offer 250 million. No, I'm rejecting everything. I don't care.
Yeah, agree.
We need to keep him.
Yeah.
City just needs to give him a pay rise, man. Guy's on 90 grand a week, yeah.
I'll chip in.
He's not even in the top 12 highest paid goalkeepers in Europe.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mad.
You know how mad that is? No wonder the guy wants to leave. You know what I mean? I'm not being funny, yeah, but you see Matthias Nunes, Calvin Phillips, all on more money than him. Yeah, it's pretty poor, actually. We've actually kind of made this situation for ourselves here by not giving him the pay rise and keeping the player on market value wage, as you should do. Now, he's contracted until 2026, so he's got 2 years left on his deal. Yeah. But obviously now he's got, he's sort of in a power position now, right? Because we're now, when he gets down to 2 years, you start losing that strong position. City just need to go back to him. And I think, to be honest with you, you need to put him on big cash, man, to get him to stay. Yeah. You might have to give him 200, 250, which is a lot for a goalkeeper, but he's so important to our team, as the lads have just mentioned. Like, and by the way, he's going to be getting offered a lot more than that from the Saudis, mate. Yeah, but if we do end up selling him, which would be just ridiculous, anything less than 80 million would just be a joke, mate. Yeah, just be a joke. And I know people will be like, yeah, but he's 30. Yeah, but he's all done it with Mahrez and went, it was a great deal, 25 million for Mahrez, when it wasn't. Yeah, we cannot sell this guy on the cheap, mate. So the good news is, actually, this is good news because this is way off the mark. So if this was like we're willing to offer 60 million, then I'd be like, damn, that's their initial offer. Like they could get close, but for them to be able to sort of get to where we want, they've got to like 4x that number, 3x it. So I don't know. I just think City just need to get this deal done, man, because it's dragging on, and it's. I said this before the United game. It says, listen, Ortega's a great goalkeeper. He is. But being a world-class number 2 and being a world-class number 1 is different. It's different. Yeah. It's different, man. Just because you can play maybe you can play 10, 12 games a season and be world-class and pull out a mint save. That's great. But to do it for 40 games a season, that's different, man. So I just think we need to avoid this. This is an unnecessary sale. How for months I've been saying I have a feeling that someone's going to leave and no one expects. Yeah. This is not the guy that it can be. I'd rather us sell Ruben Diaz or John Stones than this guy because they're replaceable. Yeah, this guy's not replaceable in my opinion. Like he's the best distributor of a ball of any goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion. He can't be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
No,
definitely.
He is, and the first goal at Wembley doesn't happen. No offense to Ortega, he's great. But that one at Wembley doesn't happen if Ederson's playing. I know that's just one example. He cannot go. I'm absolutely sure he won't go. I'm sure it's just his agent playing the game, which he's entitled to do. He's doing his job for his player. He'll end up with at least double the wage. Good on him. He deserves it. But he must stay. I'll be devastated if he went, Ederson.
Just to reiterate as well that, like what Nobbin said, he might be 30, but having a 30-year-old goalkeeper is probably just the same as having a 25, 26-year-old midfielder.
That's young for a keeper.
100%. 100%.
So, you're signing a 25, 26-year-old midfielder. You're saying, they've got some years left in them. Well, that's the same with a 30-year-old goalkeeper.
Yeah. Well, like Nobby said, Neuer's 38, bro.
Yeah.
Buffon, fucking hell. That guy was playing till what age?
Still going, isn't he?
Yeah, like there's no need, man. Like sometimes you just make things harder for yourself by doing stupid sales and that. Like, and I get it. Like if he's desperate to leave and there's nothing you can do, like what can you do? But like, if this is all just talk because he wants a pay rise, which I understand because he's massively underpaid on a market rate scale. Yeah, then just get it done, man. Let's move on to another player because we have to move on because there's so many players. Paris Saint-Germain have ended their long-term running pursuit of Man City's Bernardo Silva. Here we go. Another summer, another Bernardo Silva. Is he leaving? When's he leaving? Where's he going? This is insane.
I say if that's true, then PSG are even more stupid than I thought. Because for 50 million quid, a player of Bernardo Silva's quality is the biggest bargain you are going to find all summer.
Correct.
Like it's just the club should be queuing up to pay that much for a player of Bernardo Silva's quality. A club like PSG would be in desperate need of a player of his quality and what he offers.
Yeah,
that's just embarrassing from the whole European footballing fraternity. If no one wants to come in and do £50 million for Bernardo Silva, then directors of football should just like hang their heads in shame because that's the biggest steal ever.
You know when people go, "Oh, the Premier League ruins it all because no one else could compete." Hello, Bernardo Silva, 50 million quid, mate. Like there's literally nothing we can do. It's a release clause, so someone activate it, bro. And no one ever wants to buy him. It's so weird, man. Do you think he stays, lads, then, or what? Because like, who's buying this guy?
Well,
if PSG don't want him, Barcelona can't afford him.
Exactly.
Real Madrid don't really need him. Bayern ain't going to get him probably. So fucking, I think he's going to stay out of default because no one else actually can afford him or whatever. Like the top teams don't want him. Like what's going on here? It's mad.
Yeah, I don't know who he's linked with. Like last season, he was linked with PSG and Barca. Those were the only two clubs, as far as I'm aware. Obviously, we know Barca's financial situation. Sorry, Tom, go on.
I think Atletico. I was just going to say Atletico. I think have been linked something somewhere where he'd been linked with them, which
that would be perfect for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know their financial situation. Someone was saying they're in a bit of bother, as everybody appears to be. But I just throw in. I saw somewhere Atletico. I know that's useless because I don't know where it was, but I saw their name mentioned with Bernardo.
Okay, next player. Kevin De Bruyne is open to discussing an extension to
signed
his
a thing.
Manchester
Signed
City
a thing.
contract from Paul Hurst. Thoughts on this one, then, boys? You know, I mean, you got a lot of people saying he's finished after being subbed off against Man United. I don't think he's finished personally. I just think Pep is being ruthless. You know, you've got Phil Foden in the middle now. You don't need necessarily to keep Kevin De Bruyne on because you've got other players. This is for me, I think, the correct thing to do. If you can't get Wirtz or you can't get Musiala through the door, then you keep him until you can buy another, you know, a creative player. Because if you let Kevin De Bruyne go, you've got to bring someone else in who can create. And who you bring it in? Wirtz ain't going anywhere. Musiala, it looks like it could be tricky at this moment in time. I have to wait a year. So who are you gonna buy? You're not. You're either gonna get someone crap, who's not good enough, or you're just not gonna have someone. You're gonna be a man down. So for me, I think you have to sign him up on a contract, whether you like it or not. And for me, I think you should like it anyway, because what he's done since he's come back from his injury is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. We clearly missed him the first half of the season. We only got 40 points. I know other players did well, like Foden stepped up, did brilliantly well, but ultimately it is still De Bruyne. You're going to miss him. Our creativity skyrocketed when he came back. He's going to be 33 this year, this June. Which sounds oldish, but there's no reason why we can't do to De Bruyne what United did to Scholes and what Liverpool did to Gerrard and what Juve in Italy did to Pirlo. We can drop him slightly deeper in terms of when we're on the ball and allow him to dictate from deep. He's got the passing. He can do it. If he's got the play in front of him, he can definitely. In fact, it probably would be better for him because he's now getting to the age where he's not as explosive or dynamic. He's not as good in the tighter spaces. It actually might be better to position him slightly deeper, as I say, and utilize that long passing like that. He can, and with that passing ability, he can definitely go until he's at least 36 at the highest level. Look at Modric, for example. These guys can do it in this modern era. Definitely.
Yeah, he stays for sure. He's another who has to stay. What did he get? I might be wrong. 18 assists, something, 6 goals, something and other in half a season after coming back from an awful injury. I get it's not all stats based. That's fine. And some of his performances, like the FA Cup, not great. He's still phenomenal. He's still got that thing that no one else, even Foden, has in our team. These crazy crosses that he does out of absolutely nowhere. You know, these ones he pings into Haaland, sort of bend round the defence. He stays all day long. On his day, he's still the best player in the whole league. So absolutely stays, in my opinion.
He only just to back you up on the stats there, Tone. I'm just looking at expected stats now. So he only played 18 games, and yet he generated the 4th highest expected assists in the entire Premier League season. Only playing half the games. Son generated the most with like 13. De Bruyne generated 12 on half the season. That is literally irreplaceable. You cannot replace that in world football.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well to look at is I think De Bruyne has earned the right to decide when he wants to leave. You know, I think he's earned the respect and everything from the entire league, where he ultimately will be the one that makes the decision. You know, and we have to just accept that. If he wants to stay and sign a new contract, amazing, I'll back it. If he wants to leave, I'll back it. At the end of the day, he's earned that right to leave when he wants to leave.
Yeah, agreed. And he's not an idiot as well, Bevel. He'll know that, like,
there'll
be some games where he won't start next year, and Pep will be like, "No, you're not playing, bro. I'm going to go Phil Foden." You know, he got hooked off against United. He got subbed off at Liverpool as well. So, you know, I think you've got to pick and choose when you use Kevin De Bruyne. Like for me, for example, next year, right? Obviously, I don't know who we're going to be playing in the Champions League, right? Because obviously it's changing and that, and I don't know fully how the whole thing works and who we're going to play. But like the dead teams, I just won't even play him against those teams anymore. Like for me, I'm literally focusing him on like the crucial games. So Premier League games he plays, and then the big Champions League games. Yeah, I'm not playing him against like Club Brugge and that. Nah, like not playing him against them no more because don't need to. You play him in the games that like, right, this is going to be tough. We need someone who's like about it, you know.
A bit like a Kyle Walker, where you bring him out for the Real Madrid nights and
G
nights. Yeah.
Or use him like
Yeah.
how, like against Newcastle, the perfect impact sub comes on, changes the game. What a player to be able to bring on as like an impact player. And he's not, I say he's not stupid. He'll know that he's going to have to be limited, and also he'll want like the new guards, i.e. Foden, to come through and take his torch as well. So yeah, definitely extend him for like at least another 1 or 2 seasons or whatever.
Yeah,
Facts. Okay, final 2 players before we wrap up. Kyle Walker and Matheus Nunes have both have interest from Saudi Arabia. Kyle Walker, that's an interesting one. That really gets people talking, man. Listen, this is a good one for debate. And obviously, Matheus Nunes. I think we all know that Matheus Nunes was a panic buy. It clearly was. I know Martin is sitting there saying it wasn't a panic buy. It clearly was. Kyle Walker, though, is his time up at Manchester City?
As a starter, yes. As a useful squad player, no.
Will he accept that?
If he doesn't, then I think you've got to go, to be honest.
One thing I want to bring up on Walker quickly. Why on earth was he saying that winning the Euros is better than winning the treble?
He says a lot of stupid bloody things, Karl Walker.
I don't know what's wrong with some of the shit that he says. It's like when he said after the game, he was like, "Oh, I'm happy." Or what he said? "I'm happy for my friends in the dressing room at United that they've won it," or some shit like that. And it's like, I don't know exactly what he said. Like, he didn't probably say it exactly like that. But I was just like, bro, man. Like, I don't know. The guy just talks sometimes. And when he talks, it's like, he needs a PR advisor is what he needs.
Speak less.
Yeah.
He himself said that he expected a lesser, I'm paraphrasing, a lesser role next season after the FA Cup final, I think, or was it before? And he said he was staying, but he accepts that he'll have less games because he didn't say he's slowing down, but you see where I'm coming from. Look, if it's up to me, I'd probably move him on this summer. Especially, Martin Blackburn is great for City stuff, so that will be true that there's interest. So if you get a good offer for him, 30 mil or something, out the door, get a replacement in. He's been amazing, Kyle Walker, before anyone gets my back for us. One of Pep's best signings, without any doubt. He's been fantastic, but he is not the same player. And last season, in my view, he was probably the worst player of the squad that played regularly.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
It'll be interesting to see what God. Sorry, no,
I was just gonna say, I still think it's useful to keep him just because wherever his weird interviews are, he's still like one of the captains, so there's still a lot of leadership there. I think that we should be looking towards signing a replacement, a right back who can also play centre back, who can also push up and attack a bit better than what Walker was. We'll still have Walker as I say, like a squad option, just in case. And again, if we do get to the latter stage of the Champions League, there is still a very isolated bit of work that he can do in terms of locking up certain wingers. I don't think he's finished it by any means, but I think he's played like the 4th most minutes of any City player this season. And that's too many for a player of Kyle Walker's ability in 2024.
Okay. And Nunes? Go on, Bevel.
I was looking at this the other day, and with all the expected outgoings, the John Stones and Diaz has been mentioned, I was actually looking into it. And if you take our current captains now, that would leave one player remaining, Rodri. Because they were saying, Kevin Bruyne might leave, Diaz might leave, John Stones might leave, Kyle Walker might leave. You take all that into account. That leaves us with one captain remaining.
Yeah, no, but they're not leaving them. John Stones ain't going anywhere.
No.
And Diaz ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know, man. So some of the rumors and stuff is just ridiculous. Like John Stones ain't being sold, and Diaz ain't going. Like Diaz, actually, it's mad. Diaz. No one criticised Diaz at the start of the season when he was like poor, and then when he started getting better, people started getting on his case, and it was like, what the fuck, mate? What's going on?
He's still young as well for a centre-back. Isn't he only 28?
27, 28, yeah.
That's young for a centre-back.
Yeah, I absolutely love his mentality. He's just a natural born winner.
Yeah, he is.
I think this stems from told me on Twitter, doesn't it? love his tweets. He's great. I'm not criticising him, but I'm just saying I think it comes from he listed about 7 or 8 players and said I would shift these on in a. I think he said like a football manager type thing, 400, 500 million or something. And he had him and Ederson and Phillips and people like that. But it threw everybody that he said Ederson and Diaz, certainly Diaz.
Yeah. Okay. And Núñez. Does anyone think this guy's got like a future at City?
I think he's got the potential to be really, really good. I think this season in particular, you look at the players that we've brought in. Doku has probably had way more minutes than he should have. You look at Kovacic, as outstanding as he's been, he's probably had way more minutes than he should have in a standard Pep team. And I think Núñez has probably had about the right amount of football for his first year in City. I think he has a lot to offer, and I think next season will be a bit like when Grealish came in his first season. I think next season will be the telling season for Núñez. I think if he has a good season next year, I think we keep him. If he doesn't, then we sell him.
This is
You've been done. You've been done.
No.
You naughty. You teasing me.
I did say that. I did say this. I did say he was the next Yaya Toure. No, but the thing is, right, I just got gassed because he played well against Red Star Belgrade, right? But he's a good football player, man.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
And
Despite I've said this all season that he's been a panic buy, and I'm not changing my mind. He was a panic buy, but I also said all season that he's a good football player. I just don't think he suits us, bro. I just don't think he suits our style. He's too risky. Like when he gets on the ball too deep, he's too risky. Yeah, I mean, as we've seen actually in a game in the last couple of months where he lost it and we ended up conceding. But I just think he joined the wrong club, man. He should have joined Liverpool. You want my honest opinion? It would have been better for Liverpool. We should have got McAllister. They should have got Núñez, man. You know what I mean? I actually think McAllister would have been even better at City than he is at Liverpool. And I think Núñez would have been really good for Jurgen Klopp. I think he's a perfect Klopp style player. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I just don't see how he fits into our team.
I think, yeah, that's a really good shout, to be fair, Ari McAllister. Next season will be telling for Núñez. I'm always willing to give a player at least one season, especially with Pep style of football, because it's not every player can hit the ground like Haaland or Ruben Diaz. Sometimes players need a season, like Grealish did, for example. Bernardo did, Leroy Sané did, etc. So next season will be telling. I think that now I'm not similar to Paquetá at all, but the fact that we aren't going to get him now, we're probably going to get, let's say, a Bruno G, to me suggests that we're not going to get another midfielder. So there will be room for him to get more minutes next year, especially with De Bruyne being given a reduced role, and maybe Kovacic as well. He's a very different to midfielder to all the other options we have, is all I would say. He's not really a passer in the same way that De Bruyne is. He's not really a tight space player like what Foden is.
He's a transition player. He loves the chaotic games where he can just get the ball and just sprint through the middle.
Yes, he's a brilliant ball carrier. And I think that maybe he's going to have to become more of a utility option. Maybe he'll have to learn how to be, like a right back without the ball, for example, and become that sort of an auxiliary defender / midfielder. We even saw him play a great game. Was it against Luton or Burnley or Bournemouth? Someone out at left wing. So maybe that's where his future is at City. But Bournemouth, thank you. So maybe that's where his future is at City. If there's not the option in midfield, maybe he could become this sort of all-rounder sort of player. Like I'm not saying like Bernardo exactly, but Bernardo could play on the left, on the right, false 9, double pivot 6, 8, left back. Maybe Núñez can become that guy. I don't know.
Would you sell it if you got the money back?
Well, I would. But obviously, it depends on who we can get in.
The fact that I'm considering it tells me I probably would, yes.
I think I heard somewhere, I think it might have even been Martin that said that they've been trialling him out at right back, which I thought was...
If that's true, that's actually really good, to be fair.
Yeah, which I thought was a bit of a wild take, but when you actually look deep at it, it's...
Yeah, he could do like a Rico Lewis situation. He could do like a Kyle Walker thing where he starts at right back, goes to right wing. I think that's maybe where his future is, because if you look at our midfield depth, if we bring in a Bruno Guimaraes, you're looking at the midfield of like players like Rodri, Bruno, Foden, Bob, Lewis, Bernardo, if he stays, he's not going to get that many minutes in the midfield. So maybe that's his future.
Okay, interesting. Let's have a look at some of your super chats, guys, before we wrap up, man. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Over 2,000 people tuned in, so big numbers tonight. Big up to Philip. Says Thiago Motta's Total Football. Check him out. Yeah, he's got a new job, though, hasn't he? Is it Juve now, isn't he?
Was that confirmed?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure people were saying he's going to
Yeah, he did bits with Bologna.
Apparently so. Question for Tone.
Oh.
Gun to your head, Bruno signs this summer or nah? Obviously, you can't guarantee anything. Just curious on what you think.
Come on, come on.
Gun to my head, bloody hell. Yeah, I think we will get him, but yeah, I don't know for sure. I think Arsenal will push big time. I mean, Rice and Bruno G, or Rodri and Bruno G.
We can't let that happen. Rice,
yeah, exactly,
Bruno.
exactly, Nobbins. Yeah, so I'll say yes, but obviously, yeah, I don't know that. It's just a guess.
Okay. AK says yes, Pano, should we go for Wirtz? If he's available, we should, but I don't think he's available this summer. So I think you have to wait a year or two. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to get him this year, unfortunately. AK, big up. LB, I've been looking at Inaki Williams. He's another potential striker we should go for. Is this the guy you like, Nobbins, or is that the other guy?
No, that's his brother. Inaki Williams is going to be 30 in June. I don't think so. Nico Williams, though, yes, bring me him.
Oh, I wonder if he means Nico.
He's not a striker, but Nico's not a striker. He's a wide player.
Oh, he wants a 30-year-old.
We don't need a striker though. Anyway, we've got Alvarez and Haaland.
Yeah, I'm not sure then. AK, what are you talking about here, bro? You confused us. Off Meta says with two flying wingers, e.g., Doku and Savio, and Haaland up top, KDB will retain his important. Without wingers, other teams can crowd the midfield. Yeah, exactly. Facts, bro. You know what I mean? You look at the game against United. We needed Doku on from like minute one. Everyone could clearly see this. You know what I mean? I was calling for after like 10 minutes. Get Doku on. It was so obvious we needed Doku on the pitch. We did at half time. And yeah, it was just a shame, really, because I think if we start that game with Doku, it's probably a different outcome because he absolutely cooked. It's just a shame we just didn't have him on the pitch long enough. But yeah, next year, Savio's another interesting one because obviously we don't know if he's going to stay, but I want Savio to stay. I've made my mind up. I don't want him to be loaned. I think we need someone else who can actually be direct. You know, we've got too many of these ball retention players, man. Rate Dobkick over Alvarez. Better finish, better tech. Says Prodigal. Top La Liga scorer, isn't he?
Can I just say,
Girona, yeah.
Is he the other Norwegian?
Ukrainian, I think he is.
Yeah.
Can I just say on Alvarez, somebody asked me the other day and said, if you could pick one player that would be a shock transfer to leave, I don't think he will. But I tell you, Alvarez is the one that I would pick as somebody who could possibly leave. Small chance, but I think longer term he will not be at City, Alvarez.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Because like if you're like a top team and you need a striker, all you have to do is go to Alvarez and say, why are you playing second fiddle to Haaland for? Come to us and be the number one. There you do. Job done. Simple. Especially as it looks like, you know, you look at Haaland, everyone was saying he's going to go Real Madrid. Well, if Mbappe is going Real Madrid, you know, it looks like that's pretty good for us in terms of Haaland not leaving. So that's going to make it even more difficult for Alvarez. Get me Hakimi from PSG is the perfect replacement, says LB on Hakimi. Not like that. And AK says LB and Nobbins, I think we should be looking at La Liga teams for potential transfers. We've already looked at one, Savio. We've already got him. Obviously, Nobbins is in love with Nico Williams, so maybe we'll get him as well. Who knows? Listen, we'll wrap it up there. Big up for everyone for locking in. Over 2,100 people tuned in, man. So big up to you guys. Big up to Tone for jumping on. Big up to Bevo as well. And obviously Nobbins. You can find Nobbins' link in the description as well. Make sure you guys subscribe. Everyone in a good mood though? Are we still a bit depressed that we lost the FA Cup final? I'm over it now, mate. I'm chilling.
Yeah. I'll be real. I was over it in the same way that when we got knocked out of the Champions League, I got over it very, very quickly. It was the Premier League. The Premier League's always the one for me. If we lost that, I'd still be crying about that now. But we won. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
why do you think? Why do you think we got over it so quick? Because I was at the pub
we-
like 2 hours late and I was chilling. I don't know why.
Because we just won 4 in a row.
Yeah, we've just won
Yeah.
4 in a row with Centurions, 4 trophies, 3 trophies, bloody all this stuff, mate. It's hard to be too disheartened, isn't it? We're the most successful team of the last 10 plus years. So, look, can't win them all. We win most, though.
Yeah, I know, man.
We're at the stage where like an FA Cup or League Cup is sort of like a cherry on top rather than the main event of the season, which is obviously brilliant from a City perspective. Obviously, I'd rather have won it, obviously, but I'm not too beaten up about it, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm more gutted that we lost a derby than we did lose the FA Cup.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I had said all year that we're not winning the FA Cup, and we didn't win it. I don't know why I said that. I just had a feeling. Anyway, it's what it is. We're 4P. We did it, lads, 4P, and next year we'll try and do it again and turn this league into the Bundesliga once more. Stay tuned, guys. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Luke is live on his channel, City Luke TV. If you want to go and watch him, go over to his channel, City Luke TV. Big up to Tom, big up to Bell, big up to Nobbins. Big up to you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Drop a like if you're watching back on replay. Give us your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.